Hi peaches, it's Shaaba. Welcome back to my channel and thank you for clicking on another video. I hope you're doing well. So today I'm not going to beat around the bush. I know you love the saying. We're going to dive deep into some assholes. We're going to take a look at the subreddit Am I the Asshole? Give out some advice, hopefully learn a thing or two, hopefully help some people out and expand our worldly views. How fun is that? As always though, you beautiful peaches, let's remember to be kind down in the comments. I'd love for you to share, just do it nicely. One final little shout out, a huge thank you to the wonderful members of the Shaaba channel. If you want to become a member and grab a backstage pass, you can take a look at the little join button down there somewhere. Our lovely members suggest some of the posts like here on Am I the Asshole, and I'm very grateful for your help. Shout out to you. Thank you very much. Should we dive right in? Am I the asshole for celebrating my birthday, which is the first year anniversary of my nephew passing away? 25-year-old woman and my nephew, 4, passed away 1 year ago because of cancer. It was right on my birthday and there was no celebration. There was nothing because everyone was devastated. My sister Denise is still grieving. She's in therapy and making some progress, but it's been slow. My family and I try to be as supportive as possible. Birthdays in my family are very important. We throw huge parties, I believe, and have been taught that birthdays are important and should be cherished. Yesterday was my birthday. Obviously, I felt bad about the anniversary of my nephew's passing away, but I was also a little down about not being able to celebrate like I used to, and my girlfriend knew that. In the morning, I went to Denise's house. I stayed by her side until almost lunchtime when my mother would stay with her. We didn't want to leave her alone, but no one could stay all day. I went to work, and at night, my girlfriend made a surprise at home with a candlelit dinner and a small cake. Something very intimate and for both of us since my family was in a bad way. That's really thoughtful, no? Not a big party, not something huge, but something to mark the occasion, after paying your respects. I didn't post on social media, but my girlfriend posted a picture of us holding hands. I see where this is going. And the dinner she made with happy birthday love. My mum and Denise follow her on Instagram. I woke up the next day to hundreds of texts from my mum and Denise asking if I was celebrating even though it was such a sad day, and how heartless I was to celebrate knowing my sister was in such a bad way. Even though I said it was a surprise, they called me cold, heartless and insensitive to the pain of others, oh dear, saying that I should have refused to celebrate. I was just glad I celebrated because it's something important to me, and I didn't even realise when my girlfriend posted this photo on Insta. By the way, in case you're wondering, none of them remembered it was my birthday. Am I the asshole? Okay, so OP here sounds a little bit bitter, understandably, because of what they've gone through. I really don't think it's an asshole move to celebrate your birthday. I may be really mean, okay? The first question that came up into my head to understand the full context of this is Denise celebrating her birthday. Has her birthday happened since, and has she celebrated it? Because if everybody else in the family is still celebrating their birthdays, it seems hypocritical to not allow one person to celebrate their birthday just because for reasons they can't control, it happens to coincide with something quite tragic. I'll be really honest, someone super close to me, a very good loved one of mine, my grandpa passed away on a landmark birthday of theirs quite recently. We didn't celebrate on that day, of course, feelings were really high, and as an adult, right, which OP is, you can understand not to do things on that day. But I absolutely would not be mad. In fact, I actually actively encouraged that person to have a bigger celebration because they weren't able to do it the time before. Does that make sense? Like, I just feel like it's a really silly thing to hold over someone. I also realise that people do things in states of upset, right, that you wouldn't normally do. So I reckon that Denise and Mum here, so the two people who are sending you hundreds of texts, are probably just not in a good way. And so they're bitter and clouded with a little bit of judgment because, of course, you would be when you're feeling really sad. But as I said before, I think it was really sweet of your partner to do that for you. How cute. I'm trying to think, would I have put it online? Maybe I wouldn't have put it online. But at the same time, it happened without your control. And I wouldn't lie about it. If somebody found out, I wouldn't lie and be like, oh yeah, no, I didn't celebrate. Like, what are you supposed to do? Say, thank you so much for the cake. I really love the meaning of birthdays, but I can't. You did the right thing. You paid your respect. Eat your cake. Should we see what other people have to say? Do you agree with me? I feel like we're starting with a controversial one. Happy birthday too, by the way. Not the asshole. You didn't make your mum or your sister celebrate with you. Very true. It was you and your significant other. Does Denise expect you to never celebrate your birthday again? I do agree. And also, if you think about like mourning periods and the times that sort of like people are traditionally given, it certainly shouldn't be a rule that everybody should abide by, but it just provides some context, right? In Islam, for example, when somebody passes away, you have 40 days of grieving, and it's after that that you're able to sort of do events again. So I do think that a year is a very long time. That's not to say that you can't remember the person that passed away, but it's also not to say that you shouldn't allow somebody to celebrate their birthday. Not the arsehole, and happy birthday. Grief is hard, but you need to celebrate the loved ones you still have whilst remembering the ones you lost. This is coming from someone who lost their dad as a teen It's hard and painful, but I always celebrate my birthday and his as we did. Even though I shed a tear sometimes, it means he's remembered in a loving way to me as well. That's very sweet. I'm so glad I'm not the only one that thought of this question. I bet they still go up for Denise's birthday though. That's just my thought. That's all I'm saying. I just feel like maybe as adults, we can look past certain things and we can still allow everybody to have their moments. Not the arsehole. When I read the title, I thought you'd thrown a big party. So, but no, you had dinner with your girlfriend. In no way were you or your partner insensitive to your sister. If anything, I consider a quiet, intimate dinner instead of a large event a very respectful way to acknowledge your birthday without being excessive. Exactly that, especially because you went to Denise's and spent a lot of time with her throughout the day. So there you go, sweet. I don't think you're the arsehole. Sounds like the internet doesn't think you're the arsehole. Let us know downstairs, viewer, if you also think the same. Perhaps you don't, and that's okay. Shall we move on to another one? Am I the arsehole for napping whilst I was watching my daughter? Arsehole's quite a strong term though. In the context of this forum, just means am I in the wrong? Have I done something wrong? And on that basis, absolutely. Maybe arsehole is too strong a term. But like always, let's read the post. Who knows just how clickbaity the title is? I, a 27-year-old man, have a 7-month-old daughter with my wife, a 29-year-old woman. Having a child this young is just straight up hell. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. It's just a sentiment I've heard a lot of new parents say. I'm so looking forward to it. I have to work longer hours to cover expenses, and I also can't sleep because of her sleep cycles. On Sunday morning, my wife went out with her friends for the day, and I was watching our daughter. I had no energy, and when my daughter fell asleep in my arms whilst I was on the couch, I did too. I woke up to my wife yelling at me with my daughter in her arms. Oh, that's not good. That's definitely not good if you woke up after the baby was out of your hands in particular. So it's not like you're a light sleeper even. Not that that would have been okay, but it's not that you're a light sleeper, that a little bit of movement would have helped. Your wife literally came in, took the baby from you, you had no baby here, started shouting at you, and then you woke up after an excessive amount of noise. She was going absolutely ballistic and telling me how irresponsible I was for sleeping with my daughter in my arms like that. I really think it isn't an issue, but she clearly does. Am I the arsehole? Okay, here's the thing. I don't think you're an arsehole, but I do think that that was really ignorant. You just didn't know any better. But from what I've heard, that's really, really dangerous. You really shouldn't be sleeping if you're the only person looking after such a young infant. You are absolutely not the arsehole for needing a nap, but you are also a person of responsibility to a very, very dependent little squish. And what that means is you either have to stay up, or if you really need to sleep, call reinforcements, get someone in if you have that support, or at the very, very least, you can't sleep with a baby in your arms. I'm pretty sure you even can't do this on a bed, right? Like a baby, small human squishes need to be in their own contained spaces because mistakes can happen. And it's not just even if you like roll over, right? And accidentally harm because you're a significantly bigger being. What happens if you dropped the baby? Like you're not in a conscious position to understand what's going wrong. Maybe what's happening here is that your wife was really shouting at you and so you feel really hard done by. But I'm not gonna lie, if I was in that position and I came back and I saw that, I would be shouting too. I'd probably act over the top. It's not the nicest way to learn or to receive information, but in a state of panic, I probably would have done the same. Just being very honest. Not an arsehole, but it's not safe. Don't do it again, someone says. I share this sentiment. I don't think you're the arsehole for sleeping whilst your child sleeps. You were, however, irresponsible for holding her whilst you're sleeping. Like most people have said, it can be very dangerous. Lethal dangerous, not just a bump on the head or bruise dangerous. Next time, put your baby in the crib and you lay down in bed or on the couch. I think your wife could have reacted differently, but in the moment I also understand this reaction. Same, I'd be furious with my husband too, same. It would take me a while after calling down to understand that the reaction was more out of concern than thinking that you're a shitty person. That's a really great point to point out. It's not that you're a crap person, you clearly just didn't know. Alright, that felt like an easy one. I felt like I agreed with a lot of people. Should we do one more? Let's take a look. Am I the arsehole for refusing? I just love saying am I the arsehole. Am I the arsehole for refusing to share my mum's inheritance with her brother? Not with my brother, with her brother. Interesting. 17-year-old man. My mum had me when she was young. My grandparents were strictly religious and disowned her soon after I was born. That's sad. The family cut contact with her, save for a few relatives. My mum struggled a lot in her life. She worked a lot to save money for me to go to medical school, which has been a dream since I was 11. No one helped, and I remember when my mum got sick and we were about to be homeless, her brother, my uncle, Frank, 37-year-old man, refused to take us in, saying his wife was sick and there was no room for us. Her friend took us in, then my mum got back on her feet. She unfortunately passed away 6 months ago. No, I'm so sorry to hear that. Her best friend is trusted with my inheritance, but some days ago she told me she received a call from Frank asking about the money. He told her his wife's been dealing with medical issues and asked if I could help pay for her surgery. My mum's friend told me this and had Frank visit me. I told him I didn't feel comfortable taking from my college fund after my mum worked so hard for me to be able to have a future. This is so not okay from Frank. He complained to me about his financial decision, reminded me of how he never approved of what his parents did to mum, and went on about how close she and him were. Really? So close that you didn't let her in when you and her were in time of need? So close that it seems, this is me making an assumption, but the time Frank comes to talk to you, and only 6 months after your mum has passed away, he's demanding the money that your mum clearly wanted for you and your future? So close, by the way, that the mum decided not to give the money and the inheritance control over to her own brother, but instead to a friend? That doesn't seem close to me. What are you doing, Frank? I apologized and politely said no. Well done you, OP. He started begging, saying he already tried every option out there and all he needs now is some financial help or a loan from me and he'll pay me back shortly. Right. This is so not okay. This is in the realm of harassment. It makes me feel so uncomfortable to hear about. How on earth can you be saying this and putting this onus on a 17-year-old child? I'm getting really heated. The other thing that really annoys me about this is the idea that this wasn't linear. You needed this money before the mum passed away, right? You've always needed this money. You've not wanted the mum to pass away. It's something that just happened. So why are you now saying that your only option is something that you never knew would have been a thing in the first place? That's not OP's problem. That's your problem, Frank, and that's your partner's problem. It also really frustrates me when people like families turn around and say, oh yeah, I'll pay you back shortly. If you were able to pay someone back shortly, then why on earth are you feeling the need to take that money in the first place? Unless there's a way that you can say, I'm going to pay you back because this exact thing is happening. Which doesn't sound like it's happening, because if Frank had that plan for the money, he would just be using that thing instead, right? So you're just lying. You're lying to your niblet. That is what's happening right now. I refused again, and he began having a breakdown, crying and wanting to help his wife but feeling helpless, and then told me to think about what my mum would want me to do. Your mum would want you to spend it on your future, babe, not give in to Frank's very manipulative ways. This honestly was enough to get me to go into my room because of how uncomfortable he made me. He left, but took my number from my friend at school. Number one, why is Frank harassing other kids asking for your private details? That's not okay. Number two, why is your friend giving these details? That's not okay either. He started calling me about this and pressing me, saying that I have the ability to help my aunt, but I'm choosing not to and refusing to help. He even had some of my relatives visit to talk about it. I feel a mix of guilt and frustration right now. My mum's friend says it's up to me whether I want to help the family. Am I the asshole for refusing to give him my inheritance? No, you are not the arsehole. There is one situation in which you may be the arsehole, but considering what you've said, I feel like it's super unrealistic that this could be the case. The one exception that I can see, right, is one if you wanted to. That's not the one, or like, that's obvious. But the exception that I can see is if what your mum provided you with is significantly more than what you needed for college, right? And if what Frank was asking you for his partner was menial in comparison. Say you were gifted $100,000. You only needed $50,000 to go through school and Frank needed $1,000. I would feel, even though it would totally be your right, I would feel like a bit of an asshole not fulfilling that wish. But it doesn't sound like that's the case. I'm assuming you're in the US. I don't know why I'm making that assumption. Probably because you have to pay for surgery, and the only thing that I know about like proper private healthcare systems is from the US, and if you're having to pay for a surgery, it's always really expensive. So that's why I think it's very unrealistic. I also don't think that that would be the case. Otherwise, I feel like that's something that you would have written down and you wouldn't be talking about doing it as an either or, which is how it's being posed right now. So no, oh my goodness, you are not the asshole. Please, please, please don't give in to your incredibly manipulative, toxic family, your friend who passed on the number unless it was done in ignorance and they didn't know the situation, and they were also manipulated by Frank into being like, please, I really need to speak to my niblet. But still, they shouldn't be giving out your number, and so you should really speak to your friend about that. But certainly Frank, and certainly everybody else in your family who has tried to convince you that this is something that you should do, run away like a giant fart is in a room. You do not need that in your life. Well, this was a spicy one today. Do let me know if you agree. I really hope we've helped some people out today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you would like to see more. We do Am I the Arseholes quite regularly on this channel, and thank you once again to the lovely memberships for nominating the posts. I will love you and leave you for now, and I'll see you next time with another video. Be kind and have a great day. Bye!